These are pedals. A compelling alternative to simply sticking your big toes in the crank holes. There was a time, a simpler time, when bikes didn't require pedals at all. In fact, the drivetrain simply didn't exist at all. Back in the day, our forward propulsion on two wheels came from the raw, unfiltered, organic interaction between our feet and the single track.
Good day to you, sir.
But since the invention of the modern bicycle, the power of our meat motors has been filtered, refined, and magnified through the drivetrain. The human drivetrain interface has evolved over the years, beginning with stamped sheet metal flat pedals, then straps over your toes that we called clips, which became actual clips that we call clipless. But nowadays there's essentially two ways of connecting your feet to the rotating bits on your bike: friction or mechanical linkage. The stark contrast between these two engagement methods has created a divide in the cycling community. With flats and clips each having their own deeply entrenched communities of supporters. The rhetoric can get heated and emotional, with flat pedal fanatics coining phrases such as "flat pedals win medals," even though the facts show that may not usually be the case. Funn has a long history of providing fodder for both sides of the fight, with clipless and flat pedal lineups that rival any of the big brands on the market. They started in the mid-90s with wide platforms that stood out on the mountain bike market. Funn sponsored shredders Sam Hill and Greg Minnaar back in those days,
Look how fast he's going!
who, as we know, went on to have legendary careers.
Sam, the king, give him a crown.
Sam sticking with flat pedals, while Greg switched to clipless once that technology became mainstream and reliable. Nowadays, Funn makes adjustable and fully serviceable options for when rubber meets pin or cleat meets clip, along with some innovative entry methods, which I'll talk about shortly. Shockingly, however, their most popular model is not flat or clipless, but both. Funn says the Mamba, a pedal with a platform on one side and a clip on the other, is their best seller, and allegedly helps people learn to switch from flats to clips or vice versa. If that's the case, then the popularity of this pedal gives us hope. Hope that it's within our nature to learn something from those folks on the other side of the aisle. But I also think it could be something else, such as fear of commitment, with which we can all relate. My personal use case, stretching out those pre-workday morning rides for as long as possible. Picture this, you're running late after your dawn patrol lap because you wanted to session that feature one last time. You sprint back home, dump the bike, don your work clothes and dress shoes, and pick your bike back up for the commute to work while you eat the emergency granola bar from your frame storage compartment on the way to the office. The boss will never know the difference. Now, as primarily a flat pedal user myself, I do see the advantages of running clipless, especially in the wet and muddy conditions of the Pacific Northwest. When debris and detritus can disrupt the bonds between platform and sole, a mechanical solution is undeniably advantageous. But like most of us, I like to get loose and stick a foot out in corners. Sometimes it can be hard to unclip, but other times it's the clipping in that's the problem. Funn has a solution to this issue, dubbed the Angular Engagement System, or AES, which positions the SBD cleat at an angular offset to the platform of the pedal with a spring-loaded rocker system. Theoretically, rather than pointing your toe downwards and carefully positioning your foot to engage the front of the cleat, a rider can utilize a more intuitive flat pedal mash with a level foot to get clipped in a hurry.
This was a solution originally developed by the folks at Shimano that has been adopted by Funn.
What the heck? That's pretty good, dude. That is far better than I expected.
I of course wanted to see for myself how well this works, so I thought up a couple tests. First test, find a loose corner. For this test, I will hit this corner 10 times with the Ripper 2, which has AES, and then the Mamba, which does not have AES. Each time through the corner, I'm gonna unclip my inside foot, and then see if I can clip it back in again without hassle.
Oh, didn't get it. Got it.
Yes! It is remarkably easy to get my foot back in. I even clipped in that time that I washed out, I think. Yeah. I don't even know. Yep. Now I've switched over to the Mamba, which is a more standard style SPD pedal, no AES system in it. And I'm gonna hit this corner 10 more times, see if it's any more difficult for me to get clipped back in quickly after coming out of the corner. Nope, legitimately, nope.
Dude, it's legitimately so much harder.
Oh, I got it.
Nope.
Oh, I got it.
Nope. Nope. This made me think, I need to make a little barn that has like a ski on it. So you're like laying it down. How sick would that be?
Is this scientific? No. Is it lots of fun? Yes. And also, 20 is a reasonable sample size, at least according to my high school AP Stats class.
All right, test number 2 is a trick I haven't seen before on clipless pedals, the caveman. Now my caveman's not gonna look that cool, but hopefully will end in a satisfying click.
Now, does AES mean we're going to be seeing clipless pedals at freeride events in the near future? Most certainly no. But that's not the point. The point is that it's a small change that takes an existing technology, the SPD cleat, and aims to make it easier to use with a more reliable cleat engagement. Speaking of reliability, the pedal axle, along with the bushings and bearings, have an incredibly difficult task. Not only do they resist static loads when the cranks aren't spinning, but they need to spin reliably and smoothly even while being in one of the dirtiest and most exposed locations on the bike. Pedals do all the duties of the pegs on a dirt bike, but also need to be a well-oiled part of the drivetrain once our legs start moving. Pedals endure these same torturous stress tests that our bottom brackets do, except with higher torsional loads, more side loading, more frequent impacts, and much smaller hardware. So any pedal worth its salt has readily available replacement parts.
Of course, it's also important that the customer can service their pedals and install those fresh bits without too much hassle.
Pushing.
And as you can see,
Sweet.
that's certainly true in this case. So, if you like pedals that are durable, colorful, grippy, clippy, and versatile, well, Funn probably has something in their lineup for you.